Bert Leahy.
How you doing, Marty?
Really appreciate you coming down. This morning, one of my neighbors told me she was down at the biggest Methodist church on the North Shore of Corpus Christi Bay, and she said her pastor gave 3 sermons this morning. All 3 sermons were about the Caller Times article and Bert Leahy on the subject of overcoming greed with conscience. So I really want to thank you for coming down and doing what you did.
It's good to finally get in touch with you and meet you in person.
You know, the Caller Times article gave kind of an overview, but there's a lot of detail that, you know, I guess for space considerations or interest considerations locally didn't make it in there. I wanted to cover some of the nuts and bolts that they didn't have the space to cover. One thing in particular was, it struck me throughout the article that referred to David Stoddard, or what was it?
Stoddard, yeah.
Stoddard, yes.
Which turned out to be Dave Lubow.
Right, and I'd like to just kind of go through how it is that we established that that was Dave Lubow. I mean, first of all, how did you figure it was Dave Lubow?
Well, when I got the first phone call, it was at my house, a restricted phone call come up, and it was Dave saying he was Dave Stoddard doing reality TV in Corpus about high-profile people and stuff like that, and he said it was Stoddard. And then, obviously, I, read the article, went through the whole deal, what happened, and then I...
The original article by Mark,
about
a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, after Dave would call me back, and my image was on the internet, and I was wanting to, get some clarification on kind of what I got into, that's when I contacted you via your blog, and then you're the one that told me that you didn't understand the Stoddard name, that it was Lubow, and then we kind of confirmed through voicemails that it was Dave Lubow / Stoddard.
Right, well you saw images of Dave Lubow on my blog. That's the individual who represented himself to you as Dave Stoddard.
Right. And
then you brought your cell phone with you and played me the voice message of Dave Lubow, or the alleged Dave Stoddard calling you, which clearly identified as Dave Lubow, who I've talked to on a number of occasions. There's no mistaking that is Dave Lubow. That is the guy who hired you at the Pier 99.
Right.
Okay, which kind of leads to the subject of cover-up, because, of course, as you know, apparently Mark Collette from the Caller Times, after you told him your story, you gave him the private, unlisted number of Dave Stoddard to confirm this, and he called him. What did Mark Collette tell you happened?
He said that he called him, and Dave picked up the phone and said, well, Mark said hello, and Mark said, is Dave there? And Dave said, Dave who? And then he hung up the phone. And then and then right after that, I got a call from Dave Lubow wanting to talk, quote, and then that's when I was talking with you and Mark and saying, should we take the phone call? What should we do?
Right.
And I just decided not to take the phone call because we kind of agreed what they were going to say, that, sorry you got involved with this, possible, shut me up, hush money, whatever you want to call it. And then, after I didn't return 2 of Dave's phone calls, Allender called me.
John Allender.
John Allender, yeah. And he said, hey Bert, I seen some of your work, it looks real good, blah, blah, blah. Give me a call. And then somehow, I didn't save the message. I don't know what happened. But and then I called you because we realized they're trying to do damage control at this point. And my wife and I are at this point are like, we don't want to talk to Dave because Dave wouldn't give me any answers.
You attempted to get a hold of him right after the gig in June.
When I moved back
to
my hometown, I tried calling Dave just to say, hey Dave, I'm not cool with the police taking my identification, police report. I'm not cool with my image being all over the internet, being associated with the highly trusted internet control team, which you shot, which I totally I would have done this same thing. So I was caught.
The video that I shot from up here,
Right.
y'all out in front of my house when
Right.
the sheriff came.
Right. That's
Yeah.
why Dave didn't want me to get a hold of the internet so much, because he didn't want me to see the video and I guess freak out on him. But that's when I gave Dave 2 opportunities to clear the air of. I was pretty upset with what happened, and that's when I contacted you on your blog and said, Marty, I'm the camera guy. I want to talk and clear the air.
Okay, so how was it that Dave Lubow steered you away from the internet?
I bought because I was supposed to have so much work, I went ahead and purchased an iPad.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and an iPad, you got to have iTunes to get it hooked up.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, Bart, he's a camera guy, Bart, could I borrow your computer so I get my iPad up? And then he's like, oh, no, well, yeah, later, blah. Well, anyways, I eventually got it hooked up, at the hotel through the hotel computer, and then didn't actually see the thing that you shot until I got home, and then I was like worried, and no one would answer any of my questions or answer the phone, so that's why I contacted you directly, just to tell you that it was just ridiculous what was going on.
I got you. So it was the delay of Bart helping you get online that made you feel, in retrospect, that they didn't want you to get on the internet and see what was going on?
Well, after the second or third day, I was just asking too many questions, and they were answering too many questions. I mean, why, it's very interesting and deep what was going on, and I don't know if they would say that they were trying to keep me out of trouble or didn't want me to get in too deep, but I was just getting really kind of freaked out and confused. I just wanted to get out because they were just too secretive and just they kind of just cut me off because they thought I was asking too many questions.
I got you. And so I want to go back to how we started this about the phone calls from Dave Lubow and John Allender.
Okay.
Only after the Caller-Times contacted them. And the same day, I think, or within a couple of days with Allender, same within minutes for Dave Lubow.
Right.
There was a 4 or 5 week gap between when you had attempted to get a hold of Dave Lubow about your concerns, about you being on the internet, about what they were up to, which he would never return your calls.
No.
He disconnected from you.
Right.
Until he got a call from the Caller-Times.
Right, exactly. Because we had given I had given Mark his restricted phone number, and as soon as Dave knew that I was talking, then he wanted to talk. And it was just, they were just doing damage control, I'm sure. But, I mean, really, mainly, I just wanted to contact you and your wife and just say that I'm sorry that, I took part in something like this. I didn't go to video school to learn how to stalk people, but Dave definitely misrepresented himself and was very deceiving about this reality TV thing when it was just, like we said, in my opinion, a documentary. And I've done documentaries before, and this doesn't resemble a documentary in any way, shape, or form. They're just 24/7, Marty, just let's make his life miserable hell, kind of like what the article covered, and it was just to the point where it was just too intrusive for me to continue to stalk someone like that.
Well, thank you for not continuing to do that.